It is 4 o'clock. I'll call the meeting to order. Please stand to sing O Canada. Please be seated. We'll begin with the roll call.
Mayor Sue Patterson,
Present.
Deputy Mayor Warren Dickert,
Present.
Councillor Harold Fleet,
Present.
Councillor Dave Hawking,
Present.
Councillor Carol Hudson,
Present.
Councillor Brandon Cable,
Present.
Councillor Susan Zackel.
Present.
Thank you, Vicky. All members are present and accounted for. The land acknowledgement. As we work toward reconciliation with Indigenous people, we begin our meeting today by respectfully acknowledging that we are situated on the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe Nation, the people of Three Fires known as Ojibwe, Odawa, and Potawatomi nations, and further give thanks to the Chippewas of Saugeen and the Chippewas of Nawash, now known as the Saugeen Ojibwe Nation, as the traditional keepers of this land. So welcome to our council meeting for Monday, July the 14th, 2025. Good afternoon, council, staff, guests, the viewing public, and the media. Council, does anyone have a disclosure of pecuniary interest or a conflict of interest? Seeing none, if one should arise during the meeting, you may declare it then. Item 5, we do not have any agenda additions or deletions. So we'll move on to our health and safety message. This message demonstrates the town's commitment to safety to staff and our residents. It is intended to raise awareness of potential risks, promote safe practices, and help prevent injuries, illnesses, and fatalities. The message is brought to us by Councillor Fleet.
Thank you, Worship. Avoiding summer health hazards, heat stroke, seek shade, stay hydrated, take breaks, food poisoning, wash thoroughly, cook well, keep it chilled, crashes, obey speed limits, eliminate distractions, insight bikes, use deep, cover up exposed skin, eye damage, choose sunglasses that filter 100% of UV light, mower injuries, wear protective eye and footwear, keep kids away, swimming ear, wear earplugs, dry wet ears quickly, firework mishaps, follow directions closely, adults only. Boating incidents, wear a life jacket, avoid alcohol, watch the weather. Dehydration, drink fluids, avoid overexertion in the heat. Sunburns, wear sunscreen, avoid midday exposure. Athlete's foot, keep area dry, clean and change footwear often, and enjoy your summer. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Fleet. Item 7 is council minutes. We have one set of minutes. 7.1 is the regular council meeting minutes from June the 16th. Can I get a mover and seconder before I highlight a couple of items? Deputy Mayor Dickert and Councillor Hudson. So just a couple of items. You'll remember we had the presentation of Hanover's 2025 Senior of the Year Award Teresa Bester was the recipient of the award and well deserved. We adopted our asset management plan, and council accepted the 2025 group benefits proposal from People Corporation for group benefits with Canada Life at a cost of approximately $735,000. And that's all I have for highlights. Are there any comments or questions? I'll call the question. All in favor? That is carried. Item 8 is business arising from the minutes, and we do not have any. So then we move on to our consent agenda. And at this time, I will ask if anyone has any items they would like to see pulled for discussion with the consent agenda items. Councillor Cable?
Thank you, Worship. Could we please pull item 9.3 on the strategic plan update and item 9.8 on the downtown improvement area minutes?
Anyone else? Councillor Hudson.
Thank you, Your Worship. I just have a question with 9.2
Okay.
as well.
And I will request that 9.4, 0.5, 0.6, and 0.7, all to do with Strong Mayor's directives, also be pulled. So that leaves, let me see if we get this right. So that leaves 9.1 and give me a minute here, 9.9, 9.10, and 9.11. So I need a mover and seconder for those items to be received for information. Councillor Cable and Councillor Sack. All in favor? That is carried. So now we will go to the items for discussion, and we'll start with, we'll try and do them in order, 9.2. So let me get to my sheet. So I need a mover and seconder to put this on the floor before there is discussion. Councillor Hudson and Councillor Cable. So Councillor Hudson, that is the one you requested.
So my question is, it's on page 23, where it has the year-to-date, all the different calls laid out. And the calls seem to be consistently lower in all but other. So wondering, A, what is in other, and if we need another category perhaps for that. And my secondary question is the alarmed for life inspections. So from January to June, we have had just 9 of those. And I think we had a conversation a couple of months ago at council regarding that those alarmed for life inspections would be ramped up because we would have more hours available from the staff. So just wondering what's happening with that.
And I'm going to go to the CAO for a reply. Response.
So again, I just want to, so our public's aware with the consent agendas. So Chief Deniger is not attending this evening's meeting because we weren't aware that was going to be pulled. I can answer as best I can and seek follow-up if needed. My understanding from other reports is the other category includes things like mutual aid, police calls for assistance, canceled calls. So I would assume they've just had more calls in those areas that fit into that category during 2025 to date. And then your second one with respect to alarmed for life inspections, I know that through other conversations that I've had with Chief Deniger that they intend to increase those alarm for life inspections through the second half of this year. That the early part of this year has been, their time has been taken up with grand opening as well as getting acclimatized, I guess I would say, to the new facility and getting settled accordingly, and that's taken their time. So I can seek follow-up if you wish and follow up with you directly. Councillor Hudson.
Any other discussion with that item? Seeing none, all in favor? Receiving for information. That is carried. So then that brings us to 9.3, and that was Councillor Cable. And well, Councillor Cable, you'll move it, and Councillor Hawking. Councillor Cable, please go ahead.
Thank you, Your Worship. Thank you very much, Sherry, for the update. I know that all the department heads assisted with this as well. I think it does do an excellent job of recapping what's happened in this council term and how we're progressing towards the goals that were set in the strategic plan. I just have a couple of notes and questions. The first is on goal 2, which is page 36 of our package. 2.1B talks about exploring partnerships to support clean energy initiatives, such as growing our EV network, net zero opportunities, and energy savings. And I was just wondering, currently it says the target is 60% complete. What's the thought on targets where there might not be 100% completion rate? Like, so I would see this as a goal where this should never hit 100% because we should always be looking to grow our network, to explore net zero opportunities, to explore energy savings. So how do we determine between a 60% and one of those goals that is ongoing and will be incorporated into a variety of different projects going forward?
So the percentages are a little bit of an estimate, I guess I would say, with respect to completion. And I would agree with you that with some of those, this may be one of those ones that we hit 90% and we remain there, or we hit 75% and we remain there, for those very reasons that you stated, that it'll be an ongoing investigation with respect to those items.
Thank you. And certainly from my perspective, I don't see that as a negative if we're not hitting 100% in every category by the end of this term. I think that it's, you know, just a reality that some of these we probably don't want to hit 100% because then we would be, I think, putting our blinders up to other opportunities.
Councillor Sackle.
Thank you, Your Worship. Since we're discussing 9.3, I would like to look at Goal 1, Safe and Reliable Infrastructure. F, explore options and costs for upgrade at library. Council decision on moving forward with preferred option. We're at 0% right now. I'm just wondering, Sherry, if you can comment on what your thoughts are moving forward.
Is everyone on the same page? You found it? Okay. Okay.
So we have not brought anything here at this time for council direction, as the library board was working on their updated space needs report, which I know they have received in draft. So I've had very preliminary conversations with the chief librarian. I anticipate you will see something in the future with respect to that, and council will have to make some decisions accordingly.
I look forward to that. Thank you.
Councillor Cable.
Thank you, Worship. I'm on page 36 of our package. 2.1C talks about identifying options, costs, and potential service delivery partners for organic waste collection. And council will provide a decision on preferred option. Just wanted to confirm with, it's great that Andrew's here, or perhaps Deputy Mayor Dickert, around our thoughts on organic waste going forward. It's my understanding that the town of Walkerton is currently collecting organic waste, or will be starting to, and wondering if we're looking at their model as a potential pilot to explore moving forward. Just want to make sure that doesn't get lost.
Who wants to start? Go ahead, Deputy Mayor Dickert.
Thank you, Your Worship, and thank you for the question. At this point in time, Brockton has not issued or released a contract. They were working on the RFP, I believe, the last time we had a meeting. And yes, we are waiting to see how that goes and how that's going to work in with our operation at the landfill site. And if there's an opportunity for us to learn from that and perhaps pursue that, we'll cross that bridge at that point in time. But it's very preliminary right now on their part. They haven't got a contractor yet, so there's a lot remains to be seen at this point, but we are watching that closely, yes.
Andrew?
Yeah, just to build on that, yes, they are working through that process. They've touched base with us about some amendments to the ECA that would be required. We've asked them for some more information as we hold the license. So we've asked them for some more information on that organic storage and maybe what that could look like. there are quite a few steps yet. And I agree, we can maybe see what ultimately theirs looks like and potentially come back to council with some options for us. A lot of that background work was done in 2023, it looks like, and looking at some of that with the food cycler work. So we do have some background on that we can look at building on as it becomes a little clearer.
Excellent, thank you.
Continue on, Councillor Cable.
On page 40, 2.3B says to review and assess town-owned properties to determine feasible locations for more affordable housing options and initial potential partnerships, advocate to Grey County, province, federal government for contributions to potential housing projects. And that currently talks that we're at 10%. I know that this was kind of a rollover from the 2018 to 2022 strategic plan where we were supposed to be looking at town-owned properties to determine whether there were any that we had. I noticed that in the comments, it's proposed to hire a firm. I believe HNA is a housing needs assessment, if that's correct, in the 2026 budget process. So just trying to understand how the housing need assessment fits into this. I think certainly council is well aware that there is a need for affordable housing in the community. I don't think that should be a shock to anyone. And certainly if there are town-owned properties, I just wonder if we've explored those at this point in time.
Thank you. Andrew?
Through your worship, yeah, the housing needs assessment, that study would be required to have a positive response to a lot of funding opportunities, perhaps, that may help us collaborate for affordable housing. The town official plan update that's going on right now, we've identified one property that may be able to be reallocated for land from maybe some open space to a residential to help facilitate a project like that. The town's working with other local stakeholders, a lot of times churches and places of worship that have some interest in maybe reallocating some of that land into some sort of affordable housing or housing units to repurpose a lot of institutional lots that are underutilized with churches and places of worship. I anticipate our official plan will allow it to reduce a step to reutilize those lands from those uses to residential. It says 10%. There has been quite a bit of work done. Our CIP we're looking at updating or revising, and it'll speak to affordable housing as well. Again, the affordable housing, a huge chunk of it is collaboration. You know, we don't develop. We're here to make it as easy as possible to facilitate those. So the weight of the percentages with all these things we're doing, I guess, is the beauty's in the eye of the beholder, updating the chart.
Well, thank you. And I think that the clarity is really appreciated, looking at all the different pieces that go into affordable housing actually setting up in Hanover. So I do appreciate the update on those various components that are underway. The last one that I have, Your Worship, is 3.2C, which is on page 45 of our package. Just want to make sure this one doesn't fall off the radar. 3.2C says to explore options and costs for a downtown washroom, inviting local businesses to consider sponsorship and naming rights. And it talks about that consideration would be included in the police station build project charter. Just want to ensure that that is still on the table as a part of that project.
The answer is yes. It was just talked about last week, actually. So it continues to be part of our conversations about police station design and the desired preference that it's built into the design for that project with an exterior access.
Excellent, thank you. Certainly from I think just looking at an efficiency perspective, it makes a lot of sense for it to be built into that as opposed to building something in Heritage Square that people have to go and maintain, et cetera. And that way it's also close to eyes at all time as well, which is greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Okay, Councillor Hudson.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just want to get a little bit more information on, let's see, page 36, 2.1, the Environmental Advisory Committee. And then a follow-up with that is the following page on 37, establishing a tree canopy plan target for downtown Hanover and town-owned green spaces. Now, I understand that initially some of the advisory committee would be involved with other committees and indicating that with 100%, but I'm not sure that we have included residents in our initial action. Establish an environmental advisory committee with membership that includes resident, staff member, and counselor. So I just wonder if I can get a little bit of a follow-up on that, as well as the following with the tree canopy target.
Sherry?
So referencing 2.1A on page 36, which was establish an environmental advisory committee. I believe I noted at council in the last update in January, and it's reflected here as well, is that we had discussed as a management team that it made sense to incorporate the various environmental aspects into existing committees of council. So right now that's happening with Planning Advisory Committee, Parks, Recreation, and Culture Advisory Committee, the Economic, Culture, Tourism Development Advisory Committee, because again, the environmental initiatives cross various departments and cross various committees. And those committees already have public members involved as well. So it was more effective in our eyes to do that rather than create an existing or a new committee that we would need to recruit new volunteers for, appoint council reps, and potentially have 2 or 3 staff reps attending accordingly. So as far as I know, that's been working effectively with those committees discussing those various initiatives. To give you an Economic, Culture, and Tourism is been involved with input with the EV charger. There's been various conversations at Planning Advisory Committee, and I know Parks, Recreation, Culture continues to discuss the East End Trail as an active transportation initiative. So that's the first one. And then the second one, sorry, was the tree canopy, which is on a different page, I'm thinking. Okay, thank you. Yes, 37. So that is, and we've discussed that one. We just at our June, sorry, I'm just going to step back to the first one. The other thing that we do is that the environmental initiatives is a standing one then in our strategic plan section of our management team committee agenda as well, so that those groups can share, or those staff can share in those areas. Tree canopy, we had slated June as our target as a staff team to look at this. Unfortunately, that's going to be deferred till fall just with our current work demands and other priorities that those departments have. So it's been deferred accordingly.
Great, thanks for the update.
Councillor Cable.
Thank you, Worship. Going back to 2.1A, the Councillor Hudson was just talking about around the environmental aspect on different committees. Wondering, I believe on planning, it's a standing item that's on the agenda. Last time I looked at the Planning Advisory Committee. Is it a standing item on Economic Development, Tourism, Culture Advisory Committee? Like, is it a standing item where on Parks and Rec's agenda, it will always be there, and maybe there's an item and maybe it's not, but that way it brings focus to that category of items as we move forward?
The way we left it with staff was you could, whatever was most effective from an agenda standpoint, that they could either leave it, put it as a standing item, or that it's referenced when they are having conversations with respect to various initiatives. So for example, when they're speaking about EV chargers with economic development, then maybe it would be listed under there. PRC, potentially if it's listed under that, then you've got East End Trail. So I'd really left it with staff, whatever was effective from an agenda perspective.
Here I am with my microphone on still. Any other comments, questions, discussion about the update for the strategic plan progress? Seeing none, I'll call the question, and this is to be received for information. All in favor? That is carried. So I requested that 9.4, 5, 6, and 7 be pulled. And I have asked the clerk if it is permissible to vote on all 4 as one. And she said yes. So before I start, I need a mover and seconder for those items, and then I will highlight them. Councillor Fleet and Councillor Cable. So item 9.4, which is page 55 of the package, is the first one. And I just want to give a bit of background. I'm sure you're well aware, but under, you'll remember Vicky gave us a report at the June meeting, I believe. But under the framework of the Strong Mayors Building Homes Act 2022, strong mayors are granted significant operational control over the municipality, including the ability to direct staff, shape organizational structure, and influence local policy through initiating and vetoing bylaws. These four mayoral decisions delegates the authority back to council and the CAO and directs staff to prepare the 2026 operating and capital budget. But I would like to read each one so everyone, including our residents, are well aware of this directive. So the first one, 9.4, this is decision MDE 2025, and it is the first one. The subject is delegation of power, Chief Administrative Officer. So pursuant to the powers extended to the head of council under Part 6.1 of the Municipal Act of 2001, the Ontario Regulation 530-22, as amended, made under the Act, I, Susan Patterson, Mayor of the Town of Hanover, do hereby delegate to the Council of the Corporation of the Town of Hanover the powers assigned under Section 284.5 and 284.15 of the Act to appoint or dismiss the Chief Administrative Officer. This delegation takes effect at 12:01 a.m. on July the 10th, 2025, and shall remain in effect until modified or revoked. The second one, 9.5, this is decision MDE 2025-002. Pursuant to the powers extended, this is for delegation of power for committees of council. Pursuant to the powers extended to the head of council under Part 6.1 of the Municipal Act 2001 and Ontario Regulation 530-22, as amended under the Act, I, Susan Patterson, Mayor of the Town of Hanover, do hereby delegate to the Council of the Corporation of the Town of Hanover the powers assigned under Section 284.8, subsection 1 of the Act to establish or dissolve committees of council prescribed as being comprised solely of members of council. And number 2, the powers assigned under Section 284.8, subsection 2, to appoint chairs and vice chairs of said committees of council. Number 3, the powers assigned under Section 284.3.8, subsection 3, to ascribe functions to said committees of council. This delegation takes effect at 12:01 a.m. on July 10th, 2025, and shall remain in effect until modified or revoked. 9.6 is MDE 2025-003, delegation of power. This is for organizational structure and employment matters. Again, pursuant to the powers extended to the head of council under Part 6.1 of the Municipal Act 2001 and Ontario Regulation 530-22, as amended, made under the Act, I, Susan Patterson, Mayor of the Town of Hanover, do hereby delegate to the Chief Administrative Officer of the Corporation of the Town of Hanover the powers under Section 284.6, subsection 1 of the Act to determine the organizational structure of the municipality. And number 2, the powers under Section 284.6, subsection 2 of the Act to hire, dismiss, or exercise any other prescribed employment powers with respect to the head of any division or the head of any other power, any other part of the organizational structure, except for the statutory limitations in Section 284.6, subsection 3. This delegation takes effect at 12:01 a.m. on July 10th, 2025, and shall remain in effect until modified or revoked. And the final one, which is MDE 2025-004, this is direction for the 2026 operating and capital budget. Pursuant to the powers extended to the head of council under Part 6.1, Sections 284.3 and 284.16 of the Municipal Act 2001 and Ontario Regulation 530-22, as amended, made under the Act, I, Susan Patterson, Mayor of the Town of Hanover, do hereby direct as follows: that the Chief Administrative Officer and Director of Corporate Services and Treasurer prepare the 2026 operating and capital budget, including a 5-year capital forecast in accordance with previous standard practices and processes of the municipality, and that is dated today. Are there any questions, discussion, comments? We're following the legislation and delegating powers of authority back to council and to the CAO. We are not permitted to delegate the budget back to council. It's in the legislation. So, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Your Worship, and thank you for bringing this forward and bringing this, I guess, to resolution. My only question is, so the budget one, that's an annual event where we need to direct the CAO and corporate treasurer each year individually. It's not kind of a standing thing. It is something that happens every year then, is that correct?
Vicky, that's correct.
Through you, Your Worship. It would be best to do it annually in case circumstances change and the mayor at the time has direction in terms of how they wish the budget prepared.
Thank you.
Makes sense. Okay. I'll call the question. All in favor of receiving those directives for information? That is carried. Okay, and 9.8 is the last one to be pulled for the consent agenda. Councillor Cable, move it, and second, Deputy Mayor Dickert. Councillor Cable.
Thank you, Your Worship. A quick question on the downtown improvement area minutes, and I believe that April is online. The question is around at the bottom of the first page of the minutes, it references the memorandum of understanding. It says that there was a review at the meeting. Harold and Jen plus Jen are going to be involved in this first stage of planning, $10,000 towards the consultant. Discussion followed. Just wondering if April could provide us with an update on where we're at in terms of the downtown plan and partners who are kind of signed up to support that effort.
So April?
Yeah.
Okay.
Through your worship, thank you. So we're currently confirming all of our partnerships. So as you've read in the DIA minutes, Mayor Patterson, CAO Sherry Walden, and myself attended a meeting earlier this year. I believe it was February, to introduce the concept to the DIA. And at that point, we garnered their support. So we established a memorandum of understanding just to review in black and white what we're trying to achieve with this plan, the scope, the process, and how we will get there. So through that as well, we've established this working group that will have representation from all the stakeholders that participate in this project, the downtown plan, to have representation that I will help lead that working group to help establish the RFP, issue it, select the consultant, and then work with the consultant through the process to confirm they're getting all the information they need and receiving the approvals that they also will require throughout that process. After getting the DIA partnership established, we agreed to both approach the Chamber of Commerce together to further the partnership and get those 3 business-related stakeholders or downtown stakeholder groups working in collaboration, because I think a key highlight of this plan as well is identifying roles and responsibilities. And we know that we all frequently work together on different various promotions and events to support our downtown. So I think we feel it a great benefit for the Chamber of Commerce to work with us as well. So I attended that meeting in June. went over everything, and I believe they have a meeting this week. They had some follow-up questions that I had provided some answers to, and I understand that their meeting is this week where they will finalize their decision. So as soon as that is struck, we will proceed with the working group and issue the RFP and really start to work on this project in the fall.
Excellent. Thank you very much, April. And certainly, I think it makes a lot of sense for the three stakeholders to come together. Certainly, we know that in order for the plan to actually be executed going forward, we need everybody to be aligned and on the same page. So thank you for your work in getting this started, and I look forward to seeing what comes from the working group.
Any other comments, discussion? Councillor Hudson.
I just have a question regarding a survey that I heard sponsored on the radio about downtown businesses in Hanover. I'm just wondering who's leading that, if it's this group or if it's one, or have you heard that also, Susan?
Through your worship, I'm happy to offer some clarification around that.
Please
okay,
go ahead.
sorry.
Please go ahead. It's the business retention, right?
Correct. Yeah. So as per our work plan, we are executing the business retention expansion study, or BRNE is also what it's called. So that is an opportunity for us to collect valuable information from our business community. So it's open to all business community, not just downtown. Downtown is a key component of as well. But currently, Councillor Sackle, also committee members of the Economic Tourism Cultural Advisory Committee, members Georgina Barlow and Steve White are also assisting with this project. So we're offering the opportunity to do interviews. We have an established survey. So we're offering for meaningful dialogue, we're encouraging that one-on-one interview together to go through the questions, but it's also available online. So there's it's very tailored to the responses that it collects. So for instance, if it's a manufacturing business that is answering the survey, then it'll kick into some other sector specific questions just for manufacturers. Or if it's a sole proprietorship, it maybe takes away some questions. So we're just really trying to encompass a lot of areas to get a fulsome picture so that we can compare it to previous years, because we did BRNEs in 2015 and we did a recovery one in 2021. So after we complete this one this year, our target is 75 businesses at a minimum to hear from. Then we will be able to get those high level responses. I want to just emphasize that confidentiality is key through this process. Our results will be very generic and percentage based and just give that overall picture of what our business community is feeling, issues, opportunities, etc. We want to hear it all, and that's going to help form future decision making and plans. So if you're hearing about the BRNE, please encourage businesses to do that. We're available for one-on-one interviews, or they can do them online. Thank you.
Thanks, April. Councillor Hudson, a response?
Just wondering when this survey will be over, so we will see what the great results are.
Through your worship, so acknowledging that it is summertime, so we wanted to do essentially a launch of it this summer. Definitely we'll have this open through the end of September, at which time we will evaluate the responses we have. If we've met our target, we can look at wrapping it up. And if not, then we need to do an extra push to ensure that we meet that base that we're looking for. So I'm hoping to have more information back to you late fall.
And it reminded me when you said you heard about it on the radio, and I did read it on the on CKNX News, but I also received it because I signed up for the information from the town, and I received that first, and I thought that was so nice. I went, oh yeah, so this is what's going on. So that was good. I'm glad we're doing that. So, all right, so I'll call the question in favor of receiving these minutes, 9.8. That's carried. So that covers, if I'm correct, I'll check with Vicky, all the consent items, the ones that were in the consent agenda plus the ones we pulled. Okay, we'll move on. Item 10 is staff reports requiring action. And this is 10.1. We're on page 73. This is report PW 1425. The subject is blue box recycling for non-eligible sources. It's from Jamie McCarthy, Manager of Public Works and Projects. And I need a mover and seconder before Jamie starts. Councillor Sackle and Councillor Fleet. And welcome, Jamie.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Your Worship and members of council. So I will be presenting the report Blue Box Recycling for Non-Eligible Sources. As the town proceeds down with EPR, which is the end producer responsibility, some further information is needed to know how to proceed with this particular sector, which is the industrial, commercial, and institutional businesses. Waste management, the town's recycling collector will be delivering recycling carts at the end of September. These carts are going to replace the blue boxes at the curbside. Only residential properties will be receiving these carts moving forward. And the IC&I sector, which is about 4.8 of the town's overall stops, will not be receiving these carts. So in order to move forward with how to best deal with their recycling, I am recommending that council direct staff to proceed with a survey and outreach program to solicit feedback to gain an understanding of participation of the Curbside Blue Box program for specific non-eligible sources. And that staff also bring back a report to council on the outcomes of the survey and outreach regarding a recycling program for the industrial, commercial, and institutional sector, which is also called the non-eligible sources. The cost is quite variable, and if it is on the higher end, that would significantly impact some businesses, where $6,000 per month overall, if we had all 4.8% of those non-eligibles also continuing with the curbside collection. And if you guys have any questions, I'm here to answer them.
Thank you. So let's start. There might be a couple. Councillor Cable.
Thank you, Your Worship, and welcome, Jamie, and thank you very much for your first report. I thought that was interesting. I didn't know that we were getting carts in the town of Hanover for recycling, so that is good to know. Just wondering, are businesses currently aware of the change that's coming? Do they understand that they are a non-eligible source going forward, or is the survey a way to inform businesses of this upcoming change?
Thank you, through Your Worship. I am not sure if they're if they've been made aware. Sorry, if they've been made aware of the changes that are going to happen. There has been reports that have come to council, and if they've read them over, maybe through the minutes, might have seen that this was going to be coming down the line. But the survey, I was hoping to get that information across to them. And if they don't use it at all, or if we could promote, the recycling depot at the landfill, that's kind of where the opportunity would be to then give them more information.
Thank you. And so I'm understanding based on the reports, so there's businesses that are on 10th Street, 7th Ave, 18th Ave that currently put out blue boxes that are picked up. And so I guess the one idea is that there would be these bins along the routes, and you provided some reasons why that might not be the best option. But are we suggesting that one idea would be that a business located on 10th Street could then take their recycling and go and put it in at the landfill, and that would be free of charge for them? Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
I think the report coming back is going to have a lot of information for us, but other comments or questions? Councillor Fleet.
Thank you, Worship, and thank you, Jamie. A high percentage of businesses say would contract out their own bin rental, I guess. So do you have any idea the percentage of businesses that use our services compared to supplying their own? And if you have your own bins, a lot of that recycling goes in the garbage, unfortunately. So just an idea of businesses that use their own supplier.
Thank you. Good question through Your Worship to Councillor Fleet. I don't have those numbers on me, but I can research and bring those back in that report that would be coming back to council.
Other comments, questions? I thought for sure somebody was going to say with the bins that residential is getting, do we get a choice of a large one or a small one? But that's off topic, so. Only I want to know right now, so. Councillor Cable.
Thank you, Worship. I think the recommendation asks for whether we were comfortable moving forward with a survey, and certainly I think that that's a great next step. I think we just want to make sure that, look at how do we deliver that survey so that every business that's impacted would receive that. But certainly I think doing some kind of outreach is really important in order to determine our next step.
I would think, well, we have a listing of businesses, correct? And we can cross-check and make sure we cover everybody, and there'll be a communication plan to get this out there that these businesses will not be eligible for pickup. So, okay, nothing further. I'll call the question. All in favor? That's carried. Item 10.2 is report HR 0525. The subject is the 2025 Salary and Benefits Market Survey, and it's from Melissa Hilgendorf, our Human Resources Manager, and I need a mover and seconder to put that on the floor. Councillor Sackle, Deputy Mayor Dickert. Melissa?
Thank you, Your Worship. I just want to do a quick sound check, make sure you can hear me okay.
Yes, we can.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So after a compensation review was completed in 2016 by Warden Updegrove, Council approved a new pay grid and updated compensation practices, and these changes were then implemented for 2017. And then in 2021, a salary and benefits market review was completed, with changes then being implemented effective 2022. The town's salary pay grid policy, known as HR 018, states that a market review will normally be completed every 4 years. So completing a market review in 2025 aligns well with this policy, with it being 4 years since the last review. And it also aligns well with our current strategic plan, which includes an action to complete a salary and benefits market review this year. Routine market reviews help to ensure that we're prioritizing and maintaining market competitiveness and equitable compensation programs. It also enhances our ability to attract and retain a skilled and qualified staff team to support our services, priorities, and our citizens. This project would aim to assess the base salaries of non-union positions in relation to comparator municipalities and in line with HR 018. It would evaluate the non-union employee benefit coverage compared to that of comparable municipalities, identify required adjustments, gaps, or policy amendments that may be required for Council's consideration, and to execute and support strategic priorities and compensation policies of the town. The current project is focused on non-union compensation, and a future market survey project would be completed during the current term of council that is focused more specifically on council remuneration. The market survey process will consist of various steps and deliverables. The first would be to select and confirm comparator municipalities. A listing of municipalities recommended for use as comparators for this project is included on page 2 of the report, or page, I believe it's 78 of today's agenda package. These municipalities were selected based on an analysis and weighted assessment of various criteria, which are specified in the report, as well as those approved by council in the past for similar projects. After confirming comparators, we would collect information from them and determine how applicable it is, as well as the degree of match to our own positions. From there, we would calculate market medians for pay rates. So a median value is used to eliminate skewing of data that can happen or be caused when you're calculating an average, especially if there are extremely high or low values that are present. It will be important that a sufficient number of well-matched comparators be found for a reliable median to be calculated. Where this cannot be calculated, job evaluation scoring will help us to ensure that positions are still appropriately placed on our salary grid relative to other positions. The town's pay rates will then be compared against the 60th percentile of the market median in accordance with HR 018. By using the 60th percentile, the town aims to pay more than 60% of our comparators, but we will also pay less than 40% of comparators. In addition to pay, we will also evaluate the benefit plan in relation to that of our comparators. And once all of that is complete, a report will be brought back to council detailing the survey findings and recommendations for direction. There are no financial implications associated with this report. However, survey findings and resulting recommendations may have implications that would be brought forth to council at a later date. This report supports strategic goal number 5, open and responsible government. The recommendation is that report HR 0525 salary and benefits market survey be received, and that council support the process, deliverables, and market comparators as detailed within the report. And I'm happy to answer any questions that council may have.
Thank you, Melissa. Are there questions, comments? Councillor Cable.
Thank you, Your Worship, and thank you, Melissa, for the report. Just wondering, when you're going out and asking municipalities for different pieces of data, do we also inquire about how many steps are on their grid? Because certainly that would, to me, have a significant impact in how long it takes you to climb from base to the job rate. And I believe our town is 8 steps. I just wondering if that's the norm across municipalities or whether that's a lot. So wondering if that's something that we also look at.
Sure, through you, Your Worship. Yes, we would be collecting information that would include salary grids, which would generally specify any steps that are on the grids for others. In the past, it was not very common for municipalities to provide opportunity to achieve higher steps through successful performance. So it is becoming more and more common that I would anticipate we would see various levels of steps within information from other municipalities. But yeah, we can certainly take a look at how many steps that they offer before an employee achieves their final job rate.
Excellent, thank you.
Other discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor of HR 0525? That is carried. Thanks, Melissa. Item 10.3, we're on page 81. This is report ED 0825. The subject is the food truck pilot program, and it's from April Marshall, our economic development manager, and I need a mover and seconder to put this on the floor. Councillor Cable, Councillor Hudson. April?
Thank you, Your Worship. So the food truck industry is growing significantly across North America. This has a lot to do by changing economy or consumer preferences, particularly with younger demographics who value convenience, variety, and a unique culinary experience. We are often called upon by food trucks, and just within our current bylaw, the way it is situated, I'm just finding that if the difference between the bylaws and the permits they need to require, if they don't receive a hawker and peddler's license, that they can be mobile and moving around the municipality, we're asking them to partner with a commercial business to be able to be situated on their property. And I know that's becoming a bit of a struggle for some that maybe don't have those connections with that commercial business sector. And then it's just creating a bit of a barrier for the town to be able to assist them in establishing themselves as a business in our community. So with that, economic development, bylaw, clerks, and Parks, Recreation, and Culture Department, we got together just to talk about maybe some changes that we could make to our existing bylaws to maybe remove some of those barriers and maybe define each different type of food truck or canteen or whatever that may be, define those and really clearly be able to lay out that bylaw to be able to demonstrate what they're permitted to do in our municipality. It is also noted that in the Hanover Parks and Recreation Master Plan, under the Center of Excellence goal, that it conceptually supports the expansion of food truck opportunities in public parks. Furthering that, through the launch of our HIP Entrepreneur Business Pitch competition, we actually had 2 Mexican food trucks apply for that competition, and one of them has started in Hanover. They are splitting their time between Hanover and another community, but just to give you some background on the interest that we are receiving as far as food trucks go about coming to Hanover. So with that, we would like to try a pilot program just through August 1st through October the 5th, so that we can really promote the opportunity for food trucks to be able to offer their services in our public spaces, which therefore will also enhance our public spaces and create that community vibrancy that food trucks bring by also diversifying our culinary offerings. So with that, August 1st to October 5th is our pilot program time that we would like to be able to essentially offer licenses through an application process that will be offered on a first come, first serve. The applicants are required to complete the application form, provide a proof of valid insurance, copies of public health and fire inspections approvals. We are asking that they could operate between 9 a.m. and 10 p.m. And that they would be responsible for their own power and waste disposal. We have designated the following locations that we deem as a good opportunity to start this pilot program and to see how this works. So one being the town park down at the river lot, Heritage Square, essentially I think I got that wrong, sorry, it's supposed to be the northeast portion of the Rexall parking lot, or along 11th Ave. We also talked about 612 10th Street, which is the former Launchpad property that we are currently holding the lease for until the end of the year. So we thought it might be a good opportunity to make those lands available. And what we would like to do is offer a maximum of 2 food trucks permitted at each location, that we would work with each food truck to ensure that we are aware of when they will be there, and that we are meeting the numbered requirements that we have permitted. So essentially, through this centralized contact, so we will have an application on our website that they can complete starting tomorrow upon approval of this pilot program. And we will be able to have the opportunity through these months to ensure compliance and really monitor the success of this program. The financial implications of this is we're looking for so essentially this is a 9-week period, and we're asking for a $325 fee, which works out to be about $36 a week. The fees collected will be distributed between the Hanover Fire Department for the inspection of 125, administration 100, and Parks, Recreation and Culture, because they're maintaining the spaces at $100. So should the food truck that applies, if they already have their fire department inspection, then that license fee would go down to $200. I don't want to speak for the fire department, but I understand from Chief Denninger that this is a good opportunity for them as well to ensure that the food trucks are in compliance and getting those inspections done that they require. Just to offer a little bit of clarification too around how this enhances our community, and maybe if there's any concerns for existing restaurants or businesses about us implementing this pilot program. And I just want to confirm that I hope that we can look at this as not as competition, rather enhancing the overall appeal and accessibility of diverse dining options by offering choices in our community. That really enhances our local culinary scene and then becomes an attraction for residents and visitors. These food trucks can really complement our brick and mortar businesses, because I think If you're looking for that dining experience, you're going to go to a restaurant that you can dine in. But if you're looking for something quick and easy, maybe this food truck option might be more appealing. So we want to really contribute to that vibrant and inclusive business ecosystem and really give all entrepreneurs the opportunity to thrive and really enhance that foot traffic. We talk a lot about that for downtown, but this is also for our parks, our public spaces as well. We're generating that interest. They're on foot. They're more apt to be able, or they're more apt to benefit or utilize our public spaces or go to other shops or restaurants, those type of things, because we're getting them to stop in our community and essentially, hopefully, we're placing them in strategically so that it can enhance all of our public spaces, but also our commercial sector as well. So the recommendation is that report ED 0825 food truck pilot program be received and that council approve a food truck pilot program as outlined for the months of August to September 2025 or October 5th, which is the first weekend there in October. So I would be happy to answer any questions that council may have.
Thanks, April. I'll start. I have one question. So if a food truck is not in the designated locations, then they need to get a hawkers and peddlers license?
Thank you, Your Worship. If they're not in the designated areas, then they will need a hawkers and peddlers license if they are moving around, but they do not need a permit or a license if they establish a relationship with an existing business. So for instance, I'm sure you've seen the Mexican food truck at the Canadiana. That is, they have a relationship with that private business. So therefore they are permitted to be there and do not require a permit as such.
Okay, very good. Councillor Sacco.
Thank you, Your Worship, and thank you, April, for your report. It's exciting news, I think, to have the food trucks. So my questions, I think I have two. How will we advertise this program? We only have a couple of weeks before August comes. Do the food trucks, is there an online thing or something, a contact for you to take care of? And how will we know the hours of operation as well? Because they might not be there every day. I'm not sure how that's all going to translate.
Thank you, through Your Worship. So I am on holidays this week, but I have strategically put some communications into effect pending approval of this pilot program. So tomorrow you're gonna see it go out on social media. It will be in our news, which will then trigger an email to our subscribers, like to send out a media release to get their support as well. But furthering that, I do have contacts of a few food trucks that have been in touch with me this year that I have a direct email going to them to inform them of this, as well as our other business groups or business organizations such as the Great Business Enterprise Center, who are working directly with businesses on their business plans, and also SCDC. So a lot of it is going to be word of mouth as well, but I feel like we already have a good base that I can initially target straight away. And hopefully we can fill up, those potential 6 spots pretty quickly. If not 6, maybe just a couple under. And then you asked about their hours of operation. So we will, under this, we are able to see through the application, they do need to tell us when they'll be at each site, what days. But so we will do our best to help support that, but some of the onus also has to still be on that individual operator to ensure that they get the word out themselves and create that customer base. I hope that answers your question.
Okay, Deputy Mayor Dickert.
Thank you, Your Worship, and thank you, April. I think it's a great program to have come to town, and looking forward to seeing what kind of variety this might generate for us as far as dining experiences. And I guess the very fact that it is a pilot program, any concerns from our existing businesses, the bricks and mortar, will have that opportunity through this process to express any concerns they may have, and whether it's a pro or a con for them. And Like I said, the very nature of the way we're approaching this, I think, is good because it allows for that feedback to happen between now and the end of the year. So I think it's a great idea, and thank you for bringing it forward.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Dickert. I'd also like, thank you for that, because I do think that we are allowing them that opportunity as well to bring any concerns, and we can, walk through this with them and discuss it with them. But also, we just talked about the business retention expansions survey. So we're already getting out to our business community and wanting to hear from them. So if there's any red flags through that process as well, we'll be able to easily identify them.
Other comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor of ED 0825? That is carried. Thanks, April.
Thank you.
10.4 is report CAO 1625. The subject is notice to SMART to cease being host municipality for gas tax. It's from Sherry Walden, our CAO, and I need a mover and seconder to put this on the floor. Deputy Mayor Dickert and Councillor Fleet. Sherry?
Thank you, Your Worship. This has come about with SMART currently updating their membership agreement and staff being asked for thoughts on the host municipality clauses. And just to give you some background, Hanover has been the host municipality for the Ministry of Transportation's gas tax funding since for almost 25 years. Our records that we can source say 2004, although staff seem to think that that's been in the case since 2000. But our financial records that we have indicate 2004. So in our communication with respect to the host municipality clause within the agreement and possible revisions that the board is going through, we indicated that it would be prudent for SMART to confirm another host municipality. We're going to have a staff change at the end of the year. So that's a good opportunity for change in this sense as well as tying it into a recommendation within our organizational review that we explore solutions to reduce the current level of town staff time or effort in providing support services. As the host municipality, that means that our financial staff perform the administrative duties with respect to the gas tax agreement, the reporting, and when there's any provincial grant applications that are submitted by SMART, we become the holder of that grant application and the reporting, et cetera, et cetera. So from a financial implications standpoint, we do receive a small percentage of the gas tax allocation as an administration fee. Currently, that has been $7,400 in recent years, but it has been a minimum of $5,000 as well. It's essentially 1% of the gas tax allocation is allowed to the host municipality for that administrative time period. As is noted in the financial implications of the report, we then carry those provincial grants accordingly, and we have ones outstanding since 2023 that we've fronted, you might say, almost 171,000 in the Investing in Canada Infrastructure Transit stream that remains to be reimbursed to the town. So we still haven't received those funds. There's been a number of reminders to the province, but we know that takes time. 2 years does seem a little like a long time, but we do know that does take time through the province. So again, the full grant funding has been provided to SMART. They've purchased their vehicles, and the town's covered that ICIP portion until such time that we get the money from the province accordingly. So the link to the strategic plan is open and responsible government, and the recommendation before you this evening is that report CAO-16-25 notice to SMART to cease being host municipality for gas tax be received, and that council support the direction to provide notice to the SMART board that Hanover will cease being the host municipality for gas tax funding effective January 1st, 2026. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Comments? Discussion? Deputy Mayor Dickert?
Thank you, Your Worship. And I did bring this up at our last board meeting at Saugeen Mobility, and the board expressed their appreciation for the number of years that the town has carried this work and done it for them. They certainly are not encouraging us to leave, but they understand that because of things that are changing here, as Sherry mentioned, with staff changes and that coming, they do understand why this is coming up at this time. So they are certainly, again, appreciative of the years that we've done it, understand the reasonings that we might be giving this, and I think the timing that our CAO is proposing here of January, that works well with everything going on at SMART, and I support this change. So thank you.
Other comments, discussion? I'll call the question. All in favor? That is carried. Item 11, we do not have any bylaws. Item 12, we do not have any correspondence requiring action. So at this time, I'll ask if there's any notices of motion. None? Well, we do, but it's not under these bylaws. Different agenda these days. Okay, item 14 is good news and celebrations. And I'll start with Deputy Mayor Dickert.
Thank you, Your Worship. I just wanted to take a moment to, I guess, celebrate some of the success of the homelessness and vulnerable individual support activities that are going on in our area mostly through the county, but it's actually, town staff that supports the county when they're doing these operations. It's our local first responders, police and fire that also bring the awareness and share this information with the county staff that do the actual work. So while the visible part of this actually happens at the county level, it is certainly well supported by our staff and the tax dollars that we collect and forward to the county. Just recently, the county recognized and celebrated 1 year since the purchase and operation of a local motel in Owen Sound to help deal with the overnight short-term accommodation challenges that happen out there. And it has reduced the costs of offering this service from a one-night rate of about $110 that it was costing at prior to this purchase down to $42 a night. So it's cut it in more than half. And by doing that, it certainly gives us more funds to provide other services to those in need. Another thing is the SOS program, the Supportive Outreach Services. Again, it's been recognized as a leadership program throughout the province. There's been a lot of other areas have contacted Grey County wanting to know how this works and how successful it is. And again, it's local staff here, that work for the town and our first responders that kind of initiate some of that contact so that the SOS team can get out there. And the SOS program is not an overnight flip the switch, everything gets better. It's a program where they really take the time to build trust with the vulnerable individuals and the people that are homeless or whatever the case may be to help them get access to the support that they need. Another good news piece on top of that is they've just recently been informed that they are going to get some additional funding from the federal government, which is going to allow them to go from offering that service 4 days a week to 7 days a week. And it'll also offer them or give them the opportunity to purchase a dedicated vehicle for performing these services. They can take this vehicle out and they can go to remote locations. It's kind of a meeting space that they can talk with the people that need the help and all of those good things. So it's not to say that we've got the problem beat, but there is some good news out there, and I just thought it was a good opportunity to share that. The other statistic they shared with us was, while it's too early to claim that the SOS program is responsible for this, early data for January to May of 2025 is showing a positive trend in the opioid-related poisonings. So there's been 26 opioid-related poisonings and 1 alert issued thus far in 2025, but that compares to 67 opioid-related poisonings and 10 alerts in the prior year. So there is certainly some good news there. Again, not saying that I've got the problem beat, but just wanted to take this opportunity. It's good news and celebrations. I thought this is some good news that I wanted to share with council and with our residents to say that there is some really good work happening out there. Certainly lots more to be done, but nice to recognize some of the victories they have had. So thank you.
Anyone else that wants to? Councillor Fleet.
Thank you, Worship. Just want to say, Canada Day celebrations and the grand opening of the splash pad. Wow, I never seen that park with so many people. And, thanks to the donors and Parks and Rec and everybody involved, it was just a great day, I'll tell you. That was, I haven't seen something like that in a long time. And just one other thing, I just want to congratulate the Hanover's Ryan Davis Harris, RD music official, on his good showing at the Hawks Nest. So it was great to see a local entrepreneur do well. So thank you. That's all.
Thank you. Councillor Hawking.
Thank you, Your Worship. Regarding Canada Day, it was such a high for me personally, and I heard all kinds of comments that I'd like to pass on to staff that maybe we should make the park the site for Canada Day activities in the future. The whole idea of all those little kids being able to run around on grass and jump on their little toys, whatever, but it was really delightful. So that's my first point. My second one is I'd like just to salute the Friends of the Airport who, again, hosted a Kids Fly Day. We had 154 children show up. I went over the first thing in the morning and they were lined up right out to the airport road. So thanks again. And thanks to Bev, and her name, last name, Morgan, that's it, thank you. Bev Morgan for the artist show on Saturday. Lauren and I attended. It's nice to see arts alive in our community, and in cooperation with everybody down there. It was a great day. So thanks to Bev and her committee, and that's it. Thank you.
Very good. And I'm not going around the table. This just sort of happens this way, and you don't have to. If you don't have anything to say, that's fine too. Councillor Hudson.
Thank you, Your Worship. I also wanted to congratulate everybody that was involved in the Hawks Nest. That was a really great experience, a really great night, and so many Hanover people involved, from the judges to the presenters, and they all did a really great thing, and I was very excited for all of them, particularly the beer. The dog beer. Anyway, and I also want to thank all of the people that came out to the curling club for the breakfast, the volunteers. It turned into a very successful event, and I think it was a good compliment for the Canada Day celebration. So thanks to the volunteers and the sponsors and everybody that participated.
Very good. Councillor Cable.
Thank you, Worship. It is a very busy time for the Hanover Bentinck and Brant Agricultural Society, and just wanted to highlight a couple of upcoming events. They are hosting their annual family night at the drive-in. It's going to be on Thursday, July the 31st. It's $15 per car, so it'd be great to see lots of families out there. There will be games and face painting, etc., before the movie begins. The Hanover Fair is upcoming. It's on August the 9th and the 10th. And certainly this is an event that's organized by a dedicated team of volunteers, and there's many free activities for families to enjoy. There will be inflatables, alpacas, children's activities, exhibit displays, horse-drawn wagon rides, a foam party, a mechanical bull, rock climbing wall, sheep show, Jersey, brown Swiss shows, and of course the tug of war. And we are still looking for teams, so if you're interested in putting in a team for the tug of war, pre-registration is required, and the winning team does receive funds that they can donate to a local charity, not-for-profit, sports, or youth organization of their choice. So we are still looking for teams. And there also is free live music on Saturday evening, featuring Jammin' North and Slim Pickens from 6:30 to 11:30. So more information about the fair can be found at www.hanoverfair.ca. The Agricultural Society also has a couple of meetings coming up this week. So we do have a hall committee meeting coming up on Wednesday before our Raceway Committee. That's all that I have to report, Your Worship.
Okay. Councillor Sackle. I guess you did go around the table after all. Thank you, Your Worship. The Hanover Swim Club has been making waves lately, just if you didn't know. I think that they are making so much progress. You probably saw the full page
almost a full page in the Post recently. So I want to make a big shout out to that group, that organization. They had some outstanding performances at Brock University at their swim meet in June. And special congratulations to Finn Oxby, who placed second in all of Ontario in the 100-meter breaststroke at the Ontario Swim Championships. So way to go and keep on swimming. Thank you.
Okay. Councillor Hocking.
Thank you. Just one more item. I failed to mention that Saturday, July the 26th at the Saugeen Municipal Airport, Barns to Beaches music tour. Hopefully you can join us. Don't forget to bring your lawn chair. It should be a great evening. Thank you.
And I'll ask Sherry, anything from the staff side? No? Sorry. Leave it on, leave it off. So I did ask staff, there's nothing to update from the staff side. Item 15, upcoming and committee meetings. They are listed on this agenda and on our website. One change, 15.7, the Hanover Library Board is not meeting until September. It's listed there as July, so. And then important dates and announcements, 6.16.1, the next regular council meeting is Monday, August the 11th at 4 o'clock. And the Finance Committee meeting, which was scheduled for July 28th, has been canceled. And we do not have a closed meeting, but we have one final bylaw, and that is confirmation of proceedings. And I will ask for a mover and seconder for that. Councillor Hocking and Councillor Cable. And I'll ask Vicky for the intent of the bylaw.
Thank you, Your Worship. Through you, bylaw 3340-25 is a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the June 16th, 2025 regular council meeting and the July 14th, 2025 regular council meeting.
Thank you. So it's been moved by Councillor Hocking, seconded by Councillor Cable, that bylaw number 334025-25 be introduced and that it be taken as read a first, second, and third time, finally passed, signed by the mayor and the clerk, sealed with the seal of the corporation, and inserted in the bylaw book. All in, any further discussion? All in favor? That is carried, and that will be coming at the end of every meeting to confirm the proceedings. And we have one final motion, and that is to adjourn at 5:23. I need a mover and seconder, Councillor Hocking and Councillor Fleet. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you.